and welcome back to the channel. In today's session, we will be learning about different types of organization. The learning objectives of this session are: you will be able to explain concept of organization. Also will be able to explain the meaning, advantages and disadvantages of formal and informal organization. So let's learn about what is different types of organization. But before we start, what are the different types of organization? Let's just quickly revise what does organizing mean. So what is it exactly? Once the plans are laid out and objectives are specified, the next step is to organize resources in a manner which leads to accomplishment of the objectives that are defined by the organization. The organizing function leads to the creation of organizational structure, which includes the designing of the roles to be fulfilled by suitably skilled people and defining the interrelationship between these roles so that ambiguity in the performance of the duties can be eliminated. So in short, organization can be defined as the process that initiates implementation of plans by clarifying the jobs and working relationships and effectively deploying resources for attainment of goals that are identified. What are different types of organization? So any organization has an organizational structure, and any organizational structure is the outcome of organizing process. The organization structure can be defined as the framework within which managerial and operating tasks are performed. It specifies the relationship between people, work and resources. So let's take a look at the different types of organization, in which the first one that we are going to study is known as formal organization. So let's understand what is formal organization. Formal organization refers to the organization structure which is designed by the management to accomplish a particular task. A system of consciously coordinated activities or forces of two and more people. It certainly refers to the structure of well-defined jobs, each bearing a definite measure of authority, responsibility and accountability. Formal organization has a formal setup to achieve predetermined goals. It definitely specifies very clearly what are the boundaries of authority and responsibility. There is a systematic coordination among the various activities to achieve the organizational goals. Moving ahead. For the essence of any formal organization is a conscious purpose awareness. And definitely having that awareness for the conscious purpose, people are able to communicate with each other. They are willing to act towards it and share the same purpose. And for any formal organization to be successful, it is developed around 4 key pillars. So you have division of labor, scalar and functional process, structure and span of control. Let's understand what are the advantages and disadvantages of the same. So advantages: formal organization offers many advantages. Some of the important ones include: the formal organization structure concentrates on the jobs that are to be performed. It is easier to fix responsibility since mutual relationship is clearly defined by the boundaries. There is no ambiguity in the role of each individual. This also helps in avoiding duplication of the work. And definitely, being the formal structure and the hierarchy levels being very clearly specified, there is unity of command that is maintained in the organization. This also leads to bringing the stability in the organization and ensuring there is law and order in the organization. It leads to effective accomplishment of goals by providing a framework for the operations that are to be performed. Now let's understand what are the disadvantages of the formal organization. The formal organization, we know, is bound by rules and regulations, hence it may not consider the sentiments of the organizational members. Formal organization does not consider the goals of the individual as it works towards achieving the goal of the organization only. The formal organization is bound by rigid rules, regulation and procedures, and hence there can be delay that can be faced in decision making, which leads to achievement of the goals in challenging manner. Plus, poor organization practices may not provide adequate recognition to the creative talent. It is difficult to understand all human relationships as in the entire enterprise, as it is place where the emphasis is given on the structure and the work. Now, let's understand what is informal organization. On the contrary to formal organization, informal organization is formed between the relationship or based on the relationship between the employees who definitely have common goal or common culture or same taste. The relationship between the employees that relies on personal attitude, prejudice and interest rather than the procedure. It is a system of personal and social connection whose creation is not needed by formal organization. So interaction among the people at work gives rise to a network of social relationship among employees, which is called as informal organization. Informal organization have no written rules and is fluid in the form, and it does not have fixed line of communication. It emerges spontaneously and is not deliberately created by the management. Please also understand it does not have any definite structure or form because it is a complex network of social relationship among the members. Moving ahead. Informal organization is not established by a formal authority. It is unplanned and it arises spontaneously. Informal organization reflect human relationships. It arises from the personal and social relation among the people who are working. And it is not based on the rules, regulations or the procedures. Now, let's understand what are the advantages and disadvantages of informal organization. So the advantages that are offered by informal organization are few or include, it is fast communication. It basically means there is no prescribed line of communication that is followed. Thus the communication is easier and it leads with faster speed of the information, as well as it gives the correct feedback or quick feedback of the situation at the right time, because people share the same interest and they are open to each other in giving the feedback, it making the procedure way faster than the formal organization. Definitely in formal organization, it helps to fulfill the social needs of the members and allows them to find the like-minded people. This enhances job satisfaction since it gives them the sense of belongingness in the organization. It definitely contributes towards fulfillment of organizational goals by compensating for inadequacies in the formal organization. For example, employees' reaction towards the plan and policies can be tested through the informal network. And here you will also get the correct feedback without any hesitation. Now, what are the disadvantages? When the research says that rumors in any informal organization generally spread at the rate of 70%. And what happens when the rumors spread? It certainly leads from one activity to another, resulting into negative results. Informal organization may become disruptive force when it spreads rumors. People may not be interested in working in the same way. The management may not be successful in implementing changes if in the informal organization. Such resistance can lead to delay or restrict growth. Plus, it may also pressurize members to conform to the group expectation. This can be harmful to the organization if the norms set by the group are against organization interest. Definitely, more interest or more emphasis is given to the individual interest, as we know that this organization is formulated on the basis of relation and not on rules and regulations. Now, let's take a look at the next type of organization, which is centralized organization. What does the word centralization mean? So centralization refers to systematic and intentional reservation of all the decision-making authority with very few people on the top of the organization. This definitely includes board of directors. And any organization is centralized when decision-making authority is retained by higher management levels only. Complete centralization would imply concentration of all the decision-making functions at the top of the management hierarchy. The people at the lower level management are not involved in the decision-making procedure, and their role is only or is restricted to implementation of the decision. Once the decision is finalized, executing that decision is responsibility of the lower level management. Now, let's take a look and understand what are the benefits or what are the advantages and disadvantages of central organization. So, a centralized organization, the advantages include of this process involves very few people in decision making. It is economical in a way. It is possible to make quick decisions because there are very limited people who are associated. There is no duplication of work, and it also gives a lot of power to few individuals. Now, what are the disadvantages? There is no initiative given to the subordinate because they do not participate in the decision-making procedure. And the managers at the top level may be overburdened with the work because there is very little delegation of authority. The managers at the top level are expected to be jack of all trades, but no specialization are available. Now, let's understand the last type of organization, that is decentralization or decentralized organization. But what does the word decentralization mean? According to Lewis Allen, decentralization refers to systematic effort to delegate to the lowest level of authority, except that it can be exercised at central points. It means wide distribution of authority throughout the organization so that managers at various levels have adequate authority to make their job-related decisions. Decentralization explains the manner in which decision-making responsibilities are divided among the hierarchical levels. Decentralization is a philosophy that implies selective dispersal of authority. It also helps to promote self-reliance and confidence amongst the subordinates. Now let's understand what are the advantages and disadvantages. So the advantages include developing initiative among subordinates. So it is definitely a tool of motivating. When lower level management are given freedom to take their own decision, they learn to depend on their own judgments. Developing managerial talent for the future. Decentralization gives them a chance to prove their abilities and creates a reservoir of qualified manpower. It relieves the top management from the operational responsibilities. It helps the development of managerial skills. Plus, it helps in quick decision making. In decentralization or decentralized organization, since decisions are taken at the levels which are nearest to the point of the action and there is no requirement of the approval from many levels, the process is much faster. Also, other benefits include it facilitates growth of the lower level management, and it certainly has better control. Now, what are the disadvantages? The disadvantages include that decision-making process involves a lot of people at different levels, so it can also be time-consuming. It also can be difficult to coordinate with the diverse goals and functions and activities of all the departments of the organization. Plus, it may also result in duplication of work as such, and also duplication of staff is inevitable. These are the references utilized for types of organization.